Hello, and welcome to my podcast, Pulling Back the Curtain with Vinny Ali. Today, we're going to focus on being a perpetual new guy. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what the hell does that mean, perpetual new guy? It means the life I've lived, it has been constantly being the new guy at a new different job for various reasons. So today, we're going to go through the list, because why not? My first job, I worked at Bull Run Golf Course. I was a ball shagger, which is not as vulgar as it sounds. I immediately went around picking up the golf balls in the driveway, and I cleaned up the golf carts. And I was about 16. That was my official first job. And then I worked at a veterinary hospital. I was a kettle cleaner. It was great. Got to play with dogs all day long and had a great time. However, there was one day when I discovered the fridge. And let's just say there weren't any popsicles in that fridge, so that didn't last. From there, I went to work at a daycare where the people would drop off their kids for like an hour while they go worked out, and it was great. I got paid to play with blocks and color and draw. So I had a grand old time, or, watch SpongeBob. It was good. When I got into college, I got into doing stagehand work at the Patriot Center at George Mason University. GMU represent. And from there, I did various other stagehand jobs. And then when I graduated, I got into the Mystery Dinner Playhouse. If you recall from my prior podcast, I was Frank Salerno, the chief executive officer, old Brown Eyes himself. Very cheesy, very over the top, but good experience. And then I became a substitute teacher for a while, worked at Macaroni Grill, and then my life shifted again. My life is a roller coaster of change. So sometimes you have to just embrace it. From there, I moved to Pennsylvania, where I got a job as a stagehand again. And you're probably wondering, why am I taking a second to reflect on all the various jobs I've had? It's a part of my development as a person and as an actor. Because when you are an actor, you are a student of mankind, of the human condition. And I was told by Pam Arkin, whom we will have on here at some point, she reminded me of one thing. She said, you have to live your life. Fall in love, get a hard job, join the circus, learn to dance, keep composition notebooks, read a play a day, eat a piece of protein the size of a matchbook every single meal, drink lots of water. Her whole thing was you have to be a part of the human condition. How can you portray it effectively if you've not lived your life? And for me, that has just been working all these various jobs. Each and every single one I've had so far has helped me develop who I am as a storyteller. And the one thing that keeps me going from being the perpetual new guy from job to job to job is this whole path that I will be the world's greatest actor of my time. I may not achieve that completely, but that belief keeps me going to try every single week. I hop from multiple part-time jobs per week. Like today, I'm going to go work my customer service job. And then after that, I'm going to go do deliveries. And tomorrow, I will go do deliveries and the customer service job, and then hopefully do some landscaping the next couple of days after that. I never quite know where I'm going to be at, but I know where I'm going, and that's towards a life in the arts. First, it was theater. That's all I wanted to do. And from theater, I got into film. I thought, okay, that's all I'm going to do now. But then I saw both theater and movies were limiting, and TV was limiting because of the way I look. I kept getting cast as like terrorist number 6 or the fat brown guy, and no one could see my true talent. So I dipped my toe into voice work, and that's where things have, blossomed. As you can hear now, I finally found my voice. So once I moved to PA, things changed. I was in the farming team, or so I thought, of the arts. So I did stagehand work, and I was dishwashing. I worked at Panera Bread for a long time. And then I realized that I'm not making enough money to do anything. So I got a certificate as a phlebotomist. Phlebotomist. Not lobotomist. I'm not taking away people's capacity to think. Well, not intentionally. I would draw blood, collect specimens of stool, sputum, urine, etc., because it was an honest job. And that was a journey in of itself. I worked at a place called US Labs. I was mobile, and then I was at Quest Diagnostics. So I became very desensitized to grime and dirt, let's just say. Between dishwashing, kettle cleaning, and landscaping, which I also do now. And, I never quite know where my life's going to take me when it comes to making money and doing my craft. I was once asked, if you could dream so big that it was impossible for you to fail, what would you dream? And my dream is to be a successful actor of stage, film, and voice work. To be recognized by my peers for being someone of quality, someone that people want to work with. I don't need to be famous. I would like to be famous for 3 reasons. 1, because I could. 2, to get roasted and have people do impersonations and impressions of me. Nothing tickles me more pink than people doing my impressions and saying phrases that I say all the time. And I'm just looking at them like, wow, I really am a dork. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I got to take a second. So there was a girl I used to really like. I've liked a lot of girls. And she said to me, you know what? You're such a dork. I would put up my fingers in the peace sign on my left hand, then my right side, and I would say, you're a dork too. And you know what? As I put my fingers together, 2 dorks make a fork. Sorry, I'm very random. This is a very interesting episode because I'm going back through my life history as someone that's been worked over. Oh God. Folks, I'm 38 years old and I want to play dress up for a living. I want to get paid to play pretend. And I've been in customer service since I was 16 years old. Do the math. 10, 26, 20, 36. 22 years I have worked every single job under the sun I could find. I even worked in sales for a while. And believe it or not, I was not good at it. There were these 4 selling points, GIFs. Jones effect. Well, I helped your neighbor get a good opportunity for this, blah, blah, blah. Indifference. It's not that big of a deal. Fear of loss. I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. And sense of urgency. I'm only here for the rest of the day. I just couldn't get behind selling, even though I would be good at it. Someone once asked me, do you feel icky marketing yourself and selling yourself? Yeah. But I understand that I'm my own product. I am my own manager, director, owner, producer. I am all the things when it comes to me as a product. And if I can't get behind me as a product, then how can I get behind someone else's that's a product? So it is a part of the game to get your name out there and say, hey, my name is Vinny Ali, and I would love to be your voice. Or, hey, my name is Vinny Ali. I want to be your next star. Despite my current look, there's a lot going on underneath. I had an interesting conversation with a random internet guru. He said to me, after listening to me for 2 hours straight, you have a gold mine of material to draw from. You have so much that I did not expect. That has been the epitome of my life, changing people's minds about me based on the way I look and the way I carry myself. Am I a huge nerd? Absolutely. Batman's my hero. Go fuck yourself. Do I want to play dress up for a living? Absolutely. Do I know my value as an actor? Yes and no, because I know I can always get better. My whole thing is I want to get better at my art. Unfortunately, I've had a life where, More like just so it is. I've had a life where I've had to balance working to make money, to make ends meet, in order to support the career. So I can go do all these projects for free. If you look at my resume, I have literally decades at this point of plays, musicals, short films, couple long films, and slowly getting decades worth of voice work under my belt. And yet, I still have to work multiple part-time jobs at a time. People always say to me, oh, how do you do that? Like I say, listen to the words, part-time jobs. You work when there is work. There was a whole part of my life where I worked overnight shift, and then I would wake up after maybe 2-3 hours of sleep, go train Muay Thai kickboxing, slam an energy drink or two, and go right into landscaping, and then take a power nap again, slam another energy drink, work an overnight shift, rinse, repeat, because that's what I had to do. I started on the stage, and then I got into film, and then I got into voice work. And this year, I had a major reset of my life where I looked back at all the crazy, I'm cognitive, I need to make money, I'm cognitive, I need to make money mindset. And I realized that there will always be work, but there won't always be time to spend with my mom and my family and myself. So, long story short, I worked a customer service job. Very honest, I get benefits and I get a retirement, and I'm very, very grateful for it. But I do things my way, which is not always their way. And I was let go. But after fighting it, I managed to get my job back. But nothing I said actually got my job back. It was paperwork issues. So I moved to a different location, same company. And fate, the universe, brought me back to my art once more. I had given up, pretty much, when the pandemic hit. This is going to be a weird part of the conversation. So I'm going to skip back a little bit real quick. During the pandemic, I was working at Quest, and I got let go because they couldn't justify keeping me there, for the hours. And I was on unemployment. So I was on unemployment through the pandemic, and then I got money through the pandemic from working Dinner Detective, which is a murder mystery show. Great venue if you get a chance. And what's great about it is, well, no one knows who's in the show and who's not. Anyway, that's a little secret for you. So during the pandemic, I moved out of my mom's house because it was time, and my sister needed to move back home. And I decided that I was going to start a podcast, what we have here, Pulling Back the Curtain with Vinny Ali. I was going to interview actors, writers, entrepreneurs, and such. I mean, I've been told forever and a day to create my own content, from the books I've read to the friends I've made. And my mom even asked me, why don't you just perform monologues on YouTube? And, well, copyright. Copyright's a real thing, and to be mindful of that. So I put it aside until 2020, when I had nothing to do. At the same time, I was in a full-length movie, 4 days on set, and I actually caught COVID. Now, this is the first time I caught it, and I didn't realize I had it till episode 3 of the podcast. I was very mad. I was very bitter about it, and I suffered, like all people that have had COVID. I had 2 hallucinations. One where I was with my mom, and when I woke up from it, I couldn't find her, and I was very depressed. Another one, I was with my father, and we were out playing golf, of all things. Man has never swung a club in his life. But he was drinking in the passenger seat while I drove around, and we bonded. I woke up, and I felt at peace. In those many weeks of fighting COVID in my apartment by myself, unemployed, I learned that my father will never be the man I wanted him to be. My sister will never be the person I want her to be. They will never truly accept me. And that's okay. That's okay, because I accept me. And I had started learning to embrace the chaos of my life. That, I want to say, is when I really started living. Once the pandemic cleared up, I went back to work. I got my full-time customer service job, as I mentioned earlier. And I got into this whole work mode. You know, I would work day shift, and then I would do landscaping with my buddy Rick DiPietro with DiPietro Landscaping, LLC. Shout out, Rick. And then I slowly started doing deliveries on top of that to make some extra cash. Now, during my COVID state, I was very weakened, and I actually got love scammed by some random person on the internet that wanted to take care of me. Sent me a bad check, and it put me in debt. And from there, I've bounced around from Airbnb to Airbnb to this day until I can build up my credit score. And I'm sharing this with you because there's an image that has stuck with me for a very long time. It goes like this. What people think success looks like. Point A, point B, straight line. What it actually looks like. Point A, squiggly, roundabout way, backwards, forwards, X around, cluster fuck, and then straight line again. That's what success looks like. And that's been my life. This whole roundabout way of going through life. Every single job I've had has always led towards me being able to do this play, that play, this musical, this movie, this short film, this long film, this voice work. And it's led me to where I am right now, being able to share my talent with you through this podcast. I wouldn't be as evolved and fascinating a person as I am. I know it sounds terrible to brag like that, but damn it, I am really, really interesting. And I've lived a very interesting life in my little pond. And it wouldn't have happened if all these struggles didn't come my way and I had to find a way to rise to the occasion. So I'm grateful to it all. And everyone says, you know, you got to wait for the moment to happen. And I'm 38, guys. I think it's time that I do some more productive things than just a passion project every other day. So back to the reset. I was let go. And I got my job back at a different location. And it's given me more time to do projects like this, do more pulling back the curtain with Vinny Ali. And I actually got into an animated film called Ataka, A-T-A-K-A. I've talked about this before. I'll keep it brief. I got to the recording studio 3 hours earlier, and I talked to the producer, Andrew Santiago, and he found out about my podcast, and encouraged me to start posting, and that's what we've done. That happened. When I moved to this new location, I met a guy named Judah Priest. He is an affiliate member of the Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, Philadelphia division. And he said, hey, I'm making music up the street. You should come through. And I did. I took this huge leap of faith. I was at my job for 8.5 hours on my feet. But I said, fuck it. Let's see what happens. I get in the studio and listen to them perform and create. I'm not a rapper. I'm a voice actor, an actor. I am whiter than rice on the inside. But they accepted me and let me come into their world, the hip-hop world. I took a huge left-hand turn and I found myself among the chosen few, the 144. And I got to listen to some wonderful performers lay down track, and I got that itch. Every time I get behind a microphone, I have an itch just to get up there and do something. And Judah looked at me, he's like, what do you think? I'm like, well, I think I'm a voice actor and I really want to get in there. He says, I know. I looked you up on Instagram. I need you to put something on this track. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, the fuck you smoking? You want me to put something on this track? It's like, I want you to put something on this track. So I get bullied for the second time this year into something I was not prepared to do, but I did anyway. With 18% on my phone, I made myself an LLC as a writer and a publisher. So whatever I create on this track will give me money in royalties. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to do like this Sleepy Hollow, Night of the Opera themed storyline. So I said, okay. Macabre, theater, these are all things that is my wheelhouse. And he's like, I want like a Vincent Price type thing. And so I start writing 3 acts. Well, what I learned more, I wrote 8 bars, but 3 different verses. 3 different verses. I'm still learning. There's so much to learn. And I go up to Judah and I say to him, I got some ideas. This is what I got. And all of a sudden, my Joker impression came out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. And as soon as I did that, he said, get in the booth. I got in the booth and I crushed the first verse. No problem. Then the second verse took 1.5 tries. The third verse crushed it. It was at that moment that I became a part of the 144, the chosen few. If I didn't let go, come back, and move to that location, this opportunity never would have happened. I mentioned offhand that, how can I be more useful to you? What more can I do? Because I feel like I'm doing bare minimum for this album. But Judah said, and E Supreme told me, that I put the sauce on the song to make it really pop. And Judah said to me, well, maybe you can MC. And again, I thought to myself, the fuck you smoking? I can MC. And he says to me, why not? The second show in the tour came up this June, and I get to the venue at the Rusty Nail. It's a great little spot if you get a chance in Ardmore. And I'm there on time. Judah rolls in around 30 minutes later, and he says to me, yo, bro, I need you to MC tonight. And I looked at him, and I actually said to his face, the fuck you smoking? I'm MCing tonight. He's like, you got any experience? And of course, I'm like, I've been a best man at a wedding. I've MC'd a wedding or 2. That's about it. I always undersell, overdeliver. And I'm like thrown by this. I can't believe this. He gives me a set list and he says, make sure everyone's good. Take care of all the artists. Make sure they know they're going up. Talk to the DJ, et cetera, et cetera. So I start just doing what I normally do. I took chaos and I made it look effortless. I went through the list and the times that we had on there. I said, Judah, who's here, who's not here? Crossing off names. I went to the DJ. Do you have XYZ's number? Do you have Draco's music? Do you have Fire Nation's music? And when they didn't, I had to be like, Judah, we need music, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the night, Judah went around and said, E, you were calm. Twist of Flavor, you were perfectly chaotic. And you, I didn't have to tell you nothing. You did everything I needed you to do without me telling you. I was still in shock about it all. It was that night that I thought to myself, and I asked a lot of the guys, should I have a rapper name? Should I have a faux persona? And each of them said in their own way, pick a name that you would want to be in your movies. Because that's who you are. You're not a rapper. You're an actor. So I decided when I MC'd, I was going to be Vinny Ali. With a little bit of flair in between to show my talent. So now I'm officially a voice actor and an MC for The Chosen Few, the 144. It's crazy how life takes you. When I was 24, I said to myself, I have no idea if I'm going to live to 30. So I better get all the things I want done before then. I said I'd be married at 26, have 4 kids, live in Hawaii, and be living my best life as an actor. But it didn't quite happen that way. I'm 38, single, no kids. I live in a wonderful spot, and I'm still chasing it. I'm still working towards it. I keep asking myself, when's it going to be my time? But what I should be asking is, thank you for the time I've had, because I've grown so much as a person, as an actor, because I've taken this crazy path. All these jobs, training in Muay Thai, kickboxing, learning to use my voice for its gravitas and power, to embracing that I could be in the hip-hop game doing voice work. It's been an absolute wild ride. Recently, I read the book called Be Useful by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the big thing his father said to him is, Arnold, whatever you do in your life, you must be useful. Be useful to your family, be useful to yourself, and be useful to the community. And I use that phrase a lot now. Every day, how can I be more useful to the 144, to my family, and to myself? So next time you go out there and you're not sure what to do, think of ways to be useful to yourself, to your family, to your community. There's so much that I want to share with you all, but I don't want to bore you either. So I'll leave you with this last question. If you could dream so big and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you dream? How would you achieve it? And would you have the courage to try? I hope you do. Until next time, kids, this is Pulling Back the Curtain with Vinny Ali.